Good evening, college coaches. This is Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are a new startup company based here in Austin, Texas, where we are focused on using our technology platform to successfully help student athletes transition from high school to college, and then either into their sport of choice professionally or into a career in whatever their major was in college. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, Go Edit Graphics out of Nebraska. They do a great job of creating edits for athletic departments who want to push out great, dazzling graphics about their student athletes, their programs, communication outbound to their fan base. So appreciate Go Edit Graphics. Buffalo Wild Wings. Everybody loves wings. I want to thank Brian Soltis, a good friend of mine. He is the regional GM for Buffalo Wild Wings, and they're focused on showcasing Texas high school sports. And then lastly, my buddies over at Epic. Epic stands for Every Play I Compete. They are a new sports apparel company based out of Houston. Another good friend of mine, Stefan Johnson, is the CEO. If you're looking for uniforms, 7-on-7 jerseys, softball equipment, masks, gloves, I mean, they have it all there. They're a new company, and you can visit some of their stuff on their Twitter page at I am Epic 24/7. So appreciate all of our sponsors making this happen, but let's get to why we're really here. I have known this young lady since she was a freshman at Cedar Ridge High School. She is one of the best catchers I have seen. Lily Moron is a class of 21 catcher utility from Cedar Ridge High School. Her club team is the Texas Bombers, Scott Smith and my good friend John Carp over there at the Bombers. Look at that great GPA, 3.7, strong SAT, 1340. She's a team captain, National Honor Society. You can see her Twitter handle there. I'm really excited to bring Lily on the podcast. All right, Lily, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I can't believe 4 years have gone by when my daughter AJ used to call you her baby fish, and now you're the senior helping out the freshmen. Let's jump right into it. I'm so excited to hear your story. Let's first talk about what coaches care most about, and that's academics. You're rocking that 3.7 GPA and that 1340 SAT. Tell us about the importance you put on your academics.
My parents have always taught me that academics is number one. So they've always pushed me to be the best at everything I do. And that's always been the top of that list. So I've always tried my hardest and tried taking the hardest classes, doing well in them, and really making it a priority.
Nice. I like that. Tell us, are there any favorite classes that you have that drives that GPA?
For high school, my favorite classes have been all my business classes, mainly because my teachers, because they make my classes fun and are really supportive and trying to help me outside of the classroom with recommendation letters and possible career options and all that. So those have been my favorite classes so far.
Awesome. Tell us, there's not a student athlete out there that doesn't have the support of a principal, an AP, a counselor, a couple of favorite teachers maybe. Tell us who's had an impact on you academically through middle school and high school. Shout them out right now.
Oh, goodness. There's been a lot. High school-wise, Miss Pfluger, she's been my business teacher for, I think this is the third year now. Coach Poole, obviously. Coach Wiesman has always helped me, even when I tried taking calculus. She was there with me, like, okay, like if you have any questions, I'm right here during our study time. So they've all been great.
Yeah, shout out to one of my good friends and somebody I really respect as a coach. Coach Poole has one of the strongest softball programs in the state of Texas. Her and Coach Wiesman do a great job of developing student athletes. And, Lily, Cedar Ridge has been on a run since your 4 years and AJ's 4 years. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Cedar Ridge softball program.
They've always been not only great on the field, but great outside of that academically, always top of the classrooms. I mean, Coach Poole brags about it all the time, that every time she gets a teacher like emailing her, like, oh, thank goodness I got softball players in my class. She knows that we'll act right, because if not, we'll have to run for it. But no, I mean, it's always been a supportive team. I've never felt like I was outside of the group or anything like that. Like, they've all been great and making sure I feel like home there.
Yeah. Tell us what it's like. You were a 4-year starter there, starting AJ senior year as a freshman, and now you're a senior. What's been your experience in the Cedar Ridge softball program?
It was definitely a big difference. I mean, you think high school won't be that different from club, but it is. And it's definitely a lot of nerves and stuff like that, but you get over it, and it's been the funnest softball I've played.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your club team. I know last year you were playing with the Bombers. I know before that you were with the Blaze. Tell us a little bit about the differences you talk about at high school, but tell us a little bit about the difference between club and high school and what your experience was like playing for two of the top organizations in the country.
It's been great. I've gotten to play with tons of amazing players. I mean, to list a few, like Riley White, Bailey Brandon, some big commits in there, like stuff like that. So it's been great, not only the coaches, but also like all the players, and getting to face that great competition and really seeing like what it's going to be like at the next level.
Yeah, awesome. Let's move to learning more about you personally. But before we get to that, I want college coach. I'm a former college coach myself in football. But one thing that's important during the recruiting process is understanding your prospects and how they learn. What's their learning style? If a coach doesn't figure that out, or a teacher, professor doesn't figure that out, they're never going to be successful. Tell these college coaches that will watch this, what type of learning style do you think you are? Are you more verbal, visual, or hands-on?
I definitely think I'm more visual, maybe a little bit hands-on, but I really like to see like what I'm supposed to be doing and then try and mimic that.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you have the same learning style both in the classroom and on the softball diamond, or are they different in those environments?
I would say they're the same.
Okay. Now let's switch over to your family, great support from your mom and dad. Spend a lot of time watching games with them. I remember a quick story when you hit your first bomb out at College Station, and I was recording all the at-bats, and your mom was going crazy, like, could you send it to me? Tell us a little bit about your mom and dad. What do they do? Coaches, when coaches recruit a player, Lily, you recruit the family. So tell these coaches a little bit about your family.
They're awesome. They've always been my number one supporters and making sure I have everything I need at every practice, at every game. Like, they've been amazing, and I couldn't have asked for a better support system. I mean, my dad, he loves the game and everything that I do, and he's always like, all right, what do I need to do? Do you need a new bat, glove, whatever? Like, check your gear. Like, he's just always on top of it. So he's been great. Yeah.
In softball, as a former coach, they're also most players want to pitch, or they want to play shortstop, or they want to play center field. Rarely, most time you have to convert somebody from one position to catcher. Tell us about, did you love the position to start out, or was it something you migrated to? Tell us about your catching experience.
It was definitely okay, I started at second base, and they're like, okay, you got a pretty strong arm. Let's move you over to short. Okay, let's move you over to third. Okay, let's try you at catcher because you're not scared of getting hit by the ball. So it definitely started as like a moving me around a lot, but once I got there, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like, I'm in every play. Like, there was just nothing like it on the field, and I just fell in love with the position, and that's been it since then.
Yeah, and it sounds great. I know that from a college perspective, the recruiting priority list is pitcher, catcher, middle infield, and center field. Tell us a little bit about your recruiting so far. Who have you heard from? I know the pandemic has screwed everything up for the last two classes, but give us a little bit of background about where you are from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, I definitely started a little behind the curve on the recruiting thing. It was kind of a big thing, like when I was younger, that, oh, you're too little, you're too short. Like, there was definitely some obstacles I had to overcome. So more recently, I've gone on a couple of visits. I've been to Texas Lutheran, Temple College, UMHB, and they've all been really great. And I'm still in contact with all of them. And so, yeah, they've all been great, and it's been great learning experiences to go and talk with all of them.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about, your bat. Obviously, well, let's talk about, batting and in playing defense. I remember watching you and watching over the years, and even watching you since AJ graduated. Great catcher. You're a wall. You understand the position. You can't just put anybody at catcher. It's a different world behind the plate, working with your pitcher, getting on the good side of the home umpire. Tell us about the little nuances you've learned each year in becoming the best catcher you can be.
The umpire thing, definitely a big deal. I try and always make them happy, because otherwise you're not going to be the one who has a good time. And the pitcher thing's another thing. I try and make sure that my pitchers feel very comfortable with me. So I try and develop a strong relationship so I can give them what they need when they're struggling. So that's also been a very big thing that I try and focus on when I play my game.
I know your brother played football. I played football and coached in the past. The catcher is like the quarterback. People think it's the pitcher, but really this catcher is, big on communication, not just with the pitcher, but the entire team, calling out plays when first and third situations. Tell these coaches about your communication with your teammates in game.
I'm pretty loud in game, I'm a pretty quiet person outside of softball, but I'm definitely a lot louder on the field. You have to be a catcher. But I try and be very positive with my communication with my teammates, because I know from my own perspective, a lot of the struggles you go through as an athlete is mental. So you don't ever want to be the reason why somebody struggles mentally. So you always want to be somebody who's a positive influence and trying to help them better their game mentally so that they feel more confident and can go and do their best.
Yeah. I noticed going to games these last couple of years. I remember your freshman year, you had a consistent bat, but it seems like your bat has gotten more consistent and showing more power sophomore year, junior year. What can we expect this year as a senior?
Definitely hitting a little hard right now. Got some mental things to overcome. Definitely feeling the weight of, okay, I should be ripping bombs senior kind of thing, but I'm sure I'll get over those little preseason jitters and really settle into my role. Right now I'm in the 4-hole, so coming into that role, which is a little new for me as well. So it'll be good. I'm excited.
One thing I've always wanted to ask a catcher, because they never really caught, but does it help you in that battle, that mental battle with the pitcher? Like, okay, it's 2-1. She's probably going to throw this, or it's 3-0 or 3-2. She's probably going to. Does being a catcher and calling pitches help you in your at bats?
Somewhat, yes. I definitely know okay, she might throw a changeup in this situation, or oh, we have a runner on first, so she's probably going to throw me outside to kind of feed into that double play. So I would definitely think that calling pitches has helped a lot, and kind of mentally preparing on what to look for and what to aim my goal at for my at bat.
Nice. Most coaches when they recruit catchers, it's really more for defense, and if you can hit, it's icing. Tell us, are you spraying the ball around? I know you hit the ball power, but how would you describe yourself as a hitter?
I would definitely say I go in pretty aggressive. I usually have a plan kind of based on the pitcher, like where the situation is at. So whether I'm looking inside, outside, whatever. I definitely kind of lay it all around the field, try and go with the pitch as much as I can. I wouldn't say I really lean to one side or the other, kind of spread it out.
Okay. Another thing college coaches love is athletes that come from a family of athletes. I know your brother, I was a big fan of his playing football. Tell us about the rest of your siblings and your parents. Was anybody else in your family athletes?
Okay, I'm sorry, but Ethan's my cousin.
Sorry.
You're good. Anywho, because I'm an only child, so.
Yeah, I do remember that now, yeah.
Just before I went into that one.
But what about your dad loved softball? I mean, did he play baseball back in the day? Did he run track? What kind of athlete was he?
He definitely played a couple of sports when he was younger. I would say he's definitely more athletic now. He plays disc golf, cornhole, real golf, although he calls it ball golf because he played disc golf first, so he thinks that's fake golf. But he's very active these days. He also played slow pitch softball for a really long time, so that's kind of where I got my affinity for it, is going to watch him play his slow pitch games. That really started to introduce me to the sport, and so he was overjoyed whenever I was like, I want to play softball, and he was like, yes. So
what about your mom?
She used to play in high school. She played a little bit of basketball. That was kind of her thing, but she was a bit of a small thing, just like I am, so she didn't really continue with it.
Nice. As we finish up here, coaches love recruiting players that are leaders. Tell these coaches, how do you define leadership, and how do you plan on leading going into your senior year?
I would define leadership as somebody who really puts their team before themselves, who pushes the people around them, because they understand that, especially in our sport, it's a team sport. You can't do it on your own. So really trying to push yourself, but also push those around you, and really make that culture and stronger, and really push each other to be the best that you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing us coaches love is a player who's ultra competitive. Describe to these coaches what kind of competitor you are.
Once again, I would say I'm pretty aggressive. Once I get on the field, I'm a different person. I like to think I'm more outgoing and really like gritty and try and get into it and very outspoken. And like I said, like really trying to help my teammates to also get to that level and push themselves so that we're all competing at a high level.
Yeah. I remember once again back when you were a freshman and, Ayana and Erica Richardson, two players that are still playing in college, were kind of mentoring you. Tell us what you learned from that experience and how it's affecting you mentoring the underclassmen, the freshmen that are on the team this year.
They were definitely very strong leaders. So that really helped me to see what a leader should look like. And going into my senior season, really thinking like, I'm going to have a big impact on what they're going to be one day and what the type of leader they want to be. So making sure I'm leading by example and being really positive and just really reflecting my love for the sport so they can see like what their future is kind of going to look like and how they're going to feel once they get to that next level.
Yeah. Lily, what are you most looking forward to competing at the college level?
I would say the thing I'm most excited for is the team. That's always been my favorite part of the sport is meeting new people and getting to create these like great relationships with all these different people who I would have never met outside of the sport. And then taking a team like that and a bond like that and competing at a high level, there's nothing better than that.
Okay. Hey, is there a certain college or professional softball catcher that you look up to or pattern your game off of? Who would that be?
I would definitely say Aubrey Monroe. She, especially her throwdown, she's very compact and quick, and that was something that I wanted to mimic in my transition and getting it there fast, like keeping it all smaller and within myself. I definitely mimicked her on that.
Nice. What are your goals? So this is my favorite question. When softball's over, whatever that is, whether it's after college or you have to play pro, what do you want your life to look like once softball's over?
My current plan is to major in business, maybe do like a minor in digital media and really try and carry that maybe into a marketing perspective as far as business goes. So after college, I'm hoping to go into business school and get my master's and go on from there and either create my own business or contribute somewhere else.
Okay. Well, lastly here, colleges want to understand, what kind of player they're getting, what you're going to bring to the program. Look at the camera right now. I know college coaches, they talk to the high school coach, they talk to your club coach, maybe talk to your parents or teammates that play with you. But, because of the pandemic, you can't go on unofficial visits. They can't really contact with you. Look at the camera and tell these coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their program, both academically and athletically.
Like I said before, academics are a very high priority for me. So, I mean, I'm on top of my stuff, so you never have to worry about me in the classroom. I really try and focus and get that stuff done. As far as the team goes, I will do anything I need to contribute and help the team. I mean, pitchers need catchers. I'm there for lessons and everything else that they have. Like I said before, developing a relationship with my pitcher is very important to me. I think we both feel more comfortable and can perform better if we're comfortable and know how to help each other in those tough situations and those tough games. I have a strong game IQ, so I know what to do in situations and reading batters and calling pitches. I had a lot of experience with that. I have a pop time of 1.7, and ultimately I value being a great teammate over all else. So I'm striving to be the most encouraging teammate and leader that I can be.
Okay. Got to ask you, last question. What are your goals this season? Let's just say batting wise. How many bombs? How many RBIs? What's going to be your batting average?
Oh goodness. I'm wanting to take some records away for some girls this year. Would definitely say bare minimum looking for 5 bombs this year.
Okay.
Definitely looking for not trying to swing for the fence, but also like getting like doubles and stuff like that. So maybe beating that record.
Okay. I love it. Well, Lily, it's so exciting watching you over these 4 years. You know how much I love the Raider softball program. Once again, shout out to Coach Poole and Coach Wiseman. They've done a great job of churning out great, not just great athletes, but great student athletes who are very active in their community. Looking forward to hearing more about when you do commit. So maybe we'll have you back on the podcast once it happens and have a big celebration. If you need anything, you know to reach out to me and AJ. Looking forward to seeing you play, and I'll definitely be at a game here coming up. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Lily.
Bye.